So,
Hello, Antonina, lovely. How are you doing today, my gorgeous?
I'm great. I'm great. And I'm very excited to talk to you today.
Good. I am super excited too. Now, everybody who is watching this, I have to say to you that Antonina has been with me for a fair while now. It's been since like last summer, hasn't it, Antonina?
I think it's just coming up to a year, Brenda. We're just about to hit our 1 year anniversary.
Yes, I
I think
know.
like next month, I think that'll be a year. So 11 months we've been working together.
Yeah, and Antonina actually told me just today that we are officially going steady. So I'm it's a saggy thing. It's a saggy thing. You'd have to be a saggy to understand.
Yeah, it's
But
an inside joke.
But yes, so I've invited Antonina here today. So it's actually been a while because Antonina had some huge breakthroughs early on in our relationship. In fact, if I recall correctly, 5 weeks into our coaching relationship, you had some massive shifts, didn't you, Antonina?
Yes. So, be careful what you wish for, because if you're swimming in Brenda's energy, your life is going to change. So I think every 90 days there is a shift, right? But of course there were major changes in the beginning of this year. It's so cool to get together and talk about this, because I do recall how my journey started, and it was just about off this point that I'm hitting now. So yeah, there was some big shifts. There were house moves, all kinds of things. I think, yeah, we deserve to go steady because we moved through a lot.
We have been through a lot together. It has been insane. But Antonina, honestly, if there is a definition of an amazing client, it's definitely Antonina. And I'm not just saying that because she's on this live stream. I'm just saying it's been an absolute pleasure to mentor Antonina, because she just goes with, you tell her to do something, she goes out and does it, and she fights through the fear, and she just, she does what she does the damn thing. And that's what a lot of people need to understand, that it is scary. Leaps, making more money, having what you want in life, all of that stuff, everything is on the other side of the fear, and you've got to get past the fear and do it anyway. And Antonina is an absolute stellar example of what can happen when that actually happens. And Antonina obviously offers that same support to her clients, which means that they are also getting massive breakthroughs. Because here, one of the things that I was very adamant about when I embarked on this journey to start adding mentoring as well as the sort of fame stuff to my to my area of expertise, was that I didn't want it to be about, oh right, I'll take the money off somebody and then run. Like, what's the point in that? Like, anyone can teach anyone how to sell. What I wanted was to make sure that I had a group of women who were building towards becoming empowered, empowering themselves, working towards freedom, financial freedom, and also helping empower women that came after them, because otherwise what's the point, right?
Absolutely. I think that was one of the selling points for me to go work with you, because I was totally plugged into your vision. And as you said, it's lonely at the top. Like, if we're not doing it for each other, then why are we doing it? Like, why are we even repeating the same paradigm? So it's not just good enough to be able to do it for ourselves. It's even more rewarding to be able to provide that kind of a transformation for our clients, who then provide that transformation to their clients and so forth. And so it was, I was very excited to enter through creating sustainable business that works around their families. And being able to deliver that now too. So I'll own that.
Fantastic. Yes, and you do need to own it, because we're going to talk about the best bit of what's happened for you. In fact, there's been loads of amazing things that's happened for you. But Antonina mentioned a key word there: sustainable business, people. This is what it's about. And I'm going to say right about now, right, I'm one of the few people, I don't put myself out there as a spiritual coach per se, but because I don't feel the need to talk about being spiritual in order to say that I embody spirituality. I am very, very deeply spiritual, but I don't think that everything has to be complicated. I don't think there has to be funny words put on something. It's quite funny. I was having a joke with someone the other day saying, I know nothing about what do you call them? What those things are? Archetypes. I know zero about archetypes, right? Antonina has taught me about archetypes. I know nothing about that, but I don't need to know about archetypes to get results with people, because it's all from the heart, and it's very important that it's a passion. It's a passion of mine. I want to empower people. I want to make sure they do the best that they can do. And that's it. So yes, Antonina mentioned sustainable business. That is what I'm passionate about. So I am not teaching anybody out there. If you just want to learn how to sell, there are plenty of people out there who can teach you how to sell. That's not what this is all about. This is about teaching you how to have a sustainable business, increase your own boundaries, and start commanding to have a life that you want on your own terms. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I knew that when I entered the coaching arena, I had this desire, I had this dream to have a simple, sustainable practice, I don't know, 5-6 clients, which I could, deliver deep transformational results, and we would work over time to exponentially increase their results. And it took me ages to find it, but yeah, I was thinking the other day, like, it's here, I'm leaving it. Like, yeah.
And you are like the second person to have said this. So if you'd watched another client's transformation, she will say the same thing. Exactly what it is that Antonina wished for is what she got. And that's what I help people do. Antonina doesn't run her business like mine. I don't expect her to run a business like mine. She'll take elements from it and then she'll, do what she needs to do. And that's really important to me. This is not about having a cookie cutter business or running things in a certain way. It's all about, we do have standards. I have very high standards, as Antonina will tell you. Antonina also has very high standards, which means, we'll go on to this later, but which means that she will be quite happily walk away from a relationship that isn't fulfilling her, whether that be, one with to do with a friend or one to do with a client. It's all the same. It's all about having boundaries and high standards. And Antonina will tell you a bit about that herself as we go on. But you are here for the meat and the potatoes of this, right? And so basically what we're going to talk about is how Antonina went from, and I've got this amazing title, so I hope it's all right, Antonina, went from a broke but insanely gifted spiritual trauma expert and leader of the Sales Tumbleweed Society. It was Tumbleweed.
Nice.
Yeah. About to quit on her sole purpose. She was actually considering job hunting.
I was looking for a job in a
JOB.
A job.
Just
it
over
was
broke.
going down.
That's where we were going to. Your first 12k month, and just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, another 12k month straight after. All the while she was moving home, having restaurant dramas. She also managed to write and release her first book and secure her first 6-figure year just 4 months into 2019. How does that sound when you hear that, Antonina?
Freaking amazing. I'm pretty badass, right?
Yes, totally. Not pretty. There's no pretty about you. Totally badass, right? So yes, so we are here today to celebrate Antonina Andreeva, badass queen. And I know people are talking about, the word badass is thrown around. Listen, whenever I'm using the word badass in my crew, badass actually means something, right? So Antonina is badass. I'm badass. My people are badass. End of story, right? So So if you have an aversion to that word, then that's your problem. But we are badasses, and we own that. So yes. So Antonina, like I said, been working with for almost a year. She is a spiritual badass. She proudly claims the title of being a spiritual lady, a spiritual leader. Who has an insane knowledge of dealing with trauma response in particular. I mean, obviously, tell me if I've got that a bit wrong. But she really one of her areas of genius is being able to work with women who've been through trauma and actually help them come out the other side. So she's not just a business coach. She doesn't just help people make money. She doesn't just help them birth new businesses, but she actually goes deep with the trauma side of things, which means that her clients are able to have these massive shifts and breakthroughs, some of which took place in her recent retreat, which was just awesome. I'm hearing amazing things. You'll be seeing some videos coming from her soon, and the ladies that attended that. And actually, funnily enough, talking about retreat, that's where I want to start the story, because if we rewind a year ago, tell everyone. So I'm going to hand over to you now. So tell everyone what happened with the last retreat that you did.
Yeah. So I had just run a retreat and came back to the UK, and nothing. Tumbleweeds. So it was an amazing opportunity. It was a groundbreaking offer, so groundbreaking that not everybody in the industry got it. we we created transformational shifts and so on and so forth. And there wasn't much in terms of the return of the investment. So I was like in this void that happens, which is like, oh, I did the thing, which was the thing that I was working towards previously. And now what? And now wasn't really happening. I kind of like, there was this come down thing, which is where you came in. But what's interesting enough, right, because you mentioned spiritual, mystical, is I knew coming from the retreat is I'm going to have a person enter my life who is going to show me the next step, and I will recognize who they are when I get in touch with them. So when Brenda got in touch, I just got this knowing of like, oh, holy guacamole, this is my next level person. I better pay attention and listen. And we had a conversation, and I knew without a doubt that, yeah, you're the person that I need to be working for the next level, because you were inviting me to step the hell up and start making freaking monies.
Yeah, start making the monies and
charities.
And no more charities. And this is a point I need to make here, because this happens to a lot of people in the industry, Antonina. So this is why I want you to just go back to the retreat a minute and actually talk about the retreat. So I want you to tell people, how much you charged for it, how much you actually made from it, because you said obviously you didn't make a massive return on investment, but I want you to tell them exactly what came about as a result of that finance wise. So even though you had created these amazing, fantastic shifts and people had the most amazing time and went on to do amazing things, how was it for you financially?
Well, it was a little bit devastating, if I'm honest, because I like to put on experiences that deliver. It's not just your normal run of the mill experience. It involves a yacht, it involves sailing, it involves flying to another country, it involves hiring a personal chef, it involves hiring a team. So it wasn't cheap to put it on and deliver. And the return on the investment was less than stellar. I actually made, I think, under. And so it was a little bit like, hey, I have this big idea. I know we moved years worth of stuff in that week. Everybody went home transformed. And yet my results weren't being reflected in the financial side of things. And of course, prior to that, I've already have invested heavily into my business, in my own personal healing, in trying to get it off the ground, into business coaching. So I was really on my last legs at that point, because it was like, well, how many times can I deliver? Can I put my heart and soul and my own, finances on the line and then get less than? And of course, that comes in, this is when your family starts interfering and meddling and expressing their opinion, rightly so, because they think it's a safety thing. But yeah, the results were fantastic. The transformation were life-changing. The money in the bag, not so much.
No, and I think it's fair to say, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually, so you were at a loss when you'd finished.
Yeah, I was a loss. Yeah.
Which, and the reason I'm saying this, and the reason I'm saying it's important, obviously you are so beyond that now, Antonine, so that's not even your story anymore in any way, shape or form. But the reason I wanted you to hone in on that is because I know there are going to be people watching this today thinking, and it's true, there are a lot of people out there who do put stuff on for show and all the rest of it, and there are a lot of people out there just really giving and not getting anything back in return at all. And that is not how business is supposed to be, whether you like it or not, people. And this is why I talk about money all the time. Your business has to be profitable, or you do not have a business. You are running a very expensive hobby.
And that's exactly what it was. It was like, whoa, so my hobby is getting more and more expensive. My delivery wasn't getting better, but like, damn, here I am talking to somebody on the call, and like, I don't know how this is going to happen for me, and obviously I've run out of my lines of credit at this point. Like, what am I going to do? This is a thing that I deeply and completely believe in, and yet the results are not showing up for themselves. And it's like, what conversation are we going to have then? So yeah, totally. As I said, at that point, I was like, okay, maybe I need to get a part-time job. I'm going to start looking around. I think I even found something, and I was at a point of like filling out an application form and going for an interview at a local estate agent. I was going to be showing apartments and properties and so on and so forth, because like shit was hitting the proverbial fan.
Exactly. And thankfully I stepped in at that point, and and it was funny actually, because I had a feeling that, because Anthony, this wasn't the first encounter I'd had with Antonina. We'd actually had an encounter way, you know, a few months before then, but I wasn't ready then either. So Antonina was like, yeah, no thanks, no thanks. And that was before I'd obviously started doing my work into that properly. And then when we came back and met, it was just like, it was perfect. But I also want to take you back, Antonina, to the fact that that at the time, Antonina, so Anthony, tell everybody how much you had in your bank account at the time when.
Oh my God! Wasn't it like £200? It was like 200. It was £200. It wasn't even like £200 extra. It was £200 to live on. Okay, so it was £200 is all I had at that point. Like that's it. And so this is where I'm saying the situation was dire, because I've just came back from this beautiful retreat, and I had £200 in the bank.
And that was it. And I got on the call and I got on the call with Antonina, and we went through the things, and she was like, I know that you're right for me, but I just can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't have the money. I have £200. That's all I've got to live on. And that was that. And I said to her, you know, well, basically, do you believe in yourself or not? You know, do you believe that this is going to work? And we kind of had, obviously there was a bit of a deeper conversation than that. And then as it went on, Antonina actually sent me that money, the last money that she had in her bank account. So this is to me to say to those people out there who are like, oh, you know, I really pride myself on the fact that I don't tell somebody to go into credit, or, you know, to do this or to do that, or to whatever, to work with me. If you have the frigging cure to cancer, right? You are not going to say to somebody, I'm really sorry you haven't got the money, so so you can't have the cure to cancer. That's not what you're going to do. And basically, when you're in the coaching or the mentoring industry, you need to be so certain that what you have to offer your client is something that is literally going to transform their lives beyond recognition, that you feel comfortable about telling them to do whatever it takes to get to that place. And this is why I say it's not just about the sales. And this is not what I teach anybody. Antonina hasn't learned just how to sell to somebody, although she's become a frigging excellent saleswoman. And I'm going to tell you, you know, if anyone wants to learn how to sell via Messenger, hello, you need to hit up Antonina like yesterday, right? Antonina, tell them how many people you signed up over Messenger in your first month of working together.
In the first month, I believe there were at least 2. Overall, I have closed about 28K in sales over Messenger.
Right. So people, anyone out there saying you can't close large scale sales, premium sales on Messenger, you need to go to Antonina.
My favorite way to close.
Her favorite way to close.
And my favorite, I think more or less my favorite way for my clients too. We're Messenger people. We like writing, reading, expressing ourselves through this medium. So we do it on Messenger. Why not?
Totally. So that's awesome. So yes, so Antonina that handed over the first bit of money, she had no clue where she was going to get the rest of it from, but she did. But she reminded herself that she was a fantastic manifester, and somehow she pulled the rest together, and the rest is history, wasn't it, Antonina?
Yeah. I mean, as you said on our call, we went over all the preconceived ideas that people have in this industry, but actually you made me realize that the biggest piece here is integrity. And so I did the damn thing. I was like, okay, this needs to happen. I'm in for £200 and I need to finding the rest, because as you said, if you have something, if you have a cure for cancer, if you have a message that you want to share, actually this is part of the deal. Being like, how committed are you? Put your money where your mouth is, and just really, how committed are you? If you're playing the entrepreneur game, there is no safety valve. There is no predictability. And if that's something you want, the steadiness and the predictability, then you're in the wrong game. And so that was a good reminder of that.
Totally. And Antonina has killed it. So yes, so as Antonina has said to you, she'd worked with healers and mentors, multiple healers and mentors before. And while she will admit that we'll both admit that, of course she had breakthroughs. Of course she up leveled. She learned to be who she was through
Yeah.
these, but the last missing piece was the money piece, and that was the bit that I came in to do. And that's why, you know, I was like, look, you can't keep doing this. You can be as amazing as you want, but if nobody's buying your shit, then we're, you know, you've got issues basically. And she'll admit, you know, that she wasn't ready because she was scared of what success would bring for her, you know. One of
yes.
Totally. And we even had a conversation, didn't we, Antonina, once, where I said, you've always, like, you're completely opposite to everyone else, whereas most of us are coming from a lack consciousness to start off with, but Antonina is actually the opposite. She's always known that abundance is her birthright, and she kind of plays the other way.
Played down. Yeah. She said, Brenda said I'm an interesting one, and I am in that when I'm very good at pulling it in, but then I get this thing of where I'm just I push it away because I'm like, oh my God, what will people think? What is this about? And so it kind of like, it wasn't fitting into my brain about the whole piece about being deeply spiritual, devoted, and then abundant, just like wasn't getting on in my brain. And so I would pull it in and then push it away, or pull it in or not pulling it in. Just like really kind of my whole operation system was wrapped up in this game that I was playing with myself, instead of just like doing the damn thing and flowing and you know, creating and helping, creating it for myself and others, which is what we're doing now, of course, because that's your biggest trauma, your biggest shadow is actually the path to your biggest alignment, right?
Totally. And I mean, this is something that I work with on all of my clients. You know, I talk about the wound, you know, you know, we're both saying the same thing essentially. And that's how powerful it is when you are truly in alignment with what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You know, I'll say to my clients, their biggest wound is what is going to take them to their biggest, you know, to their biggest cash flow, you know, and that's what happens. And that's why I know that my process works. And that's why I know that's why I can pretty much guarantee with certainty, if my process is followed, that people are going to get results like Antonina. You know, when she came on board and I was like, you're going to have a 10K month, and she came on board and she got over a 10K month, you know. And then we looked at the next stage was then, right, okay, so let's just be consistent. And then we had consistency, and then after that we were like, right, let's look at 20K. And then Antonina Antonina was like, okay, right, I think I'm ready for a 20K month now. And I'm like, okay, Antonina, I think you're ready for a 20K month too. So how are we doing this? And then about a week later, Antonina, tell them what happened.
So I've been like psyching myself up and talking about it and creating it and all of these things, only to like look back on my figures and realize I've hit it way back in February.
Oh yes. So yes, she said like in April, I need to have a 20K month. I need to have a 20K month. This is just doing my head in. And then we were like, do your figures, Antonina. Oh yeah, I hit a 20K month.
This actually it was. I accidentally hit 20K all the way back in February, and so like no wonder, you know, what I was working towards was like confusing because I was already there. So it just goes to show that accidentally hit 20K.
Accidentally, but then that's not and then the best bit was actually while we were doing the figures, you then realized that you'd accidentally hit six figures. Yeah. Who does that? Tell me who does that.
Math is not my strongest point. I feel money. And I had to actually see it to believe it. But yeah, that at that point, this is when we realized we're 4 months into a year, and it is freaking official. I'm on 6 figures.
People, do you understand this, right? When Antonina and I first met, she said she was having sporadic months, and we were looking at, if she was lucky, a 3K month, and that was a good month, wasn't it, Antonina?
Yeah, exactly. So before the actual retreat, I had I think a couple of clients, and then it kind of dried up, and then the retreat was the big thing, and I didn't even know where the hell the next person is going to come to. I actually did the whole you know, intaking thing, and it never went be like no was the standardized reply. Oh, that's so sweet, but no.
Totally.
You know, and I was joking that I was friend zoned by all my potential clients. I was Miss Friend Zone. I was like, if I was in the dating world, I'm like the Mr. Nice Guy. I just get friend zoned whenever they come on the call.
And I think a lot of people can identify with, anyone who's watching that, I think can identify with that, Antonina. It's like, how on earth do you turn someone who's a friend or somebody who admires you or someone you've already had nice conversations with into a client? I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I know I frigging struggled with it at the start, you know, and it all comes back to your internal authority. And, you know, in terms of thinking, well, how on earth does somebody who's a publicist then end up doing something around, you know, coaching and mentoring? Well, that's exactly it, because authority is authority is authority, and the same authority that you're going to need to become famous is the same authority you need to be able to get clients, to be able to get money, to be able to get paid, all of that good stuff. All of these things that aren't, you know, that were an issue for Antonina previously are no longer an issue for her. You know, just the change is dramatic. So yeah, you know, she was, Antonina, you'd also mentioned that you've just, you know, oh, what was the other thing? Sorry, one of the other amazing things about Antonina is that prior to that, Antonina would have, it was one night stands. So you weren't only just friend zoned. If you actually got with somebody, it would be a one night stand, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was never in a long-term capacity. So it's not only inviting them in, it was retaining clients was an issue. So it was always this hustle mode of being on Facebook or whatever, looking for clients, having a wide network, and then nobody biting. It was super frustrating, mega frustrating. I can't tell you how yes, frustrating it was. Of course, we're joined by the superstar.
Yeah, stop, darling, stop. I'm doing an interview. You need to be quiet. No, Bubby, it's an interview. Okay, no, boo, stop. Right, okay. Anyway, so I was getting a bit sidetracked.
This is mother's life, right? Like that's how we do.
But this
superstar come in and Bella come in about 15 minutes.
No, and this is real. Boo, wait a minute, please, darling. In a minute. Let mummy talk first. No, in a minute. Okay. So yeah, so this is real life for me, and this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about building a business around your life. Like I'm literally here having this conversation with Anthony.
In bed. What were we saying before?
Yeah,
in bed.
In the bedroom. That's where we are.
Bigger businesses are built from your bedroom in bed for most part, while the children are like asking something or wanting something or wanting to join conversation. But hi, like that's life, right? That's how it works.
Totally. And it's real, you know. And the thing is, it's funny. I've been tempted to say I know, but she's not there.
She wants to interview me too. Bless her.
No, so she can hear you. Just say something. She can hear you. Hello, she says.
Hello.
All right, Boo, can you go in the living room now?
I want to say what's her name.
No, her name is Antonina. Boo, let mummy finish.
I want to tell what Antonina's name is.
Right, 1 second. Okay. Look, say hi. Just wave, Boo.
Hi.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Right, say bye-bye, darling. She says see you later. She says see you later.
What are you doing? What'd you say? I didn't hear it.
She said, what are you doing?
This is the best.
She is a diva. Oh, anyway, that's a little diva.
She's a diva. She's a diva and she needs screen time. I get her.
Yes, she does. So where were we? So yes, so Antonina accidentally six-figure entrepreneur, and this is very, you know, this is totally true. This is totally true. It actually did happen like that. Well, I've got the screenshots to prove it, but I don't think we need to. Do that. But we were all right. Well done, darling. So we were talking about the fact that Antonina is now in a position where she can actually re-enroll clients, and this may sound, you know, some of you watching this maybe think, well, so what? You know, what's the big deal? You know, surely it's quite easy to do. No, it's not necessarily, is it, Antonina? And maybe give some people who are watching an idea as to why it can be difficult to re-enroll somebody after an initial period with you.
Yeah, so first of all, re-enrollment is not something that's talked about in this industry, and because of the type of marketing that we're exposed to, there's a lot of seeking and searching, and so therefore there's a lot of topical transformation. A lot of people feel like they hit their goal, they hit their objective, as it were, and then that's it. There's nothing else that needs to be done. Whereas, of course, the dynamic that you work with, the rhythm that you work with, which really appeals to me, is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and sustainability requires consistency. And so, this is not something that's widely publicized, and therefore not everybody's as committed, and then not everybody meets the required standard to actually go on and produce consistent results that will grow exponentially.
Totally. Yes, she can hear you, darling. She can hear you. Right. Yeah. And some of the amazing things that, I'm sorry, this reads like a shopping list. The amount of, the amount of amazing things that's happened for Antonina over the past almost a year now. Things like she's increased her prices. So maybe tell people what you kind of were charging prior to working with me and what you are able to charge now.
It was, oh goodness, it was 500, 1,000. So we're talking about, 3 months packages at like £1,000. I think, probably my food shopping was more than that. Wow. As we said, it was most of the time it was a short-term solution, not for the lack of trying. 795, so low, 2-figure sums is probably. So it wasn't like 97 a session. I probably tried to sell that too, though. But it was in no way. It was in no way supportive of the family environment. It was just pocket money, if I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just about
pocket money. And this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this business model is for everybody, right, Antonina? And I'm sure Antonina will agree too. This business model isn't for everybody. And there are some people out there, some of you who are even watching this, that may think, well, actually, I don't actually want to sell premium. I want to reach more people on a wider scale. I'd like to make my stuff accessible and all of that kind of stuff. So what would you say to anybody who is thinking in that sort of vein?
Well, they're crazy, first of all, but the best way I can describe it is I had somebody come into one of my containers thinking the same thing, and pretty quickly they realized that this isn't. This is only possible if you have a large audience, a large list, lots of time on your hands, and a big team. Let's be honest. The people who are selling you that solution have somebody building all of these pieces out. And a large following that has been prior built to actually sell to. So in essence, they're selling you a dream. If you're a mama, you have a 2-year-old, or you have a one at school, you really don't have that much time on your hands to be creating that type of solution. I would also try and say this is quite a masculine way of doing business. So in short, it is unsustainable, and it is the opposite of what we are trying to achieve and wanting to achieve and wanting to deliver. Because another thing, as most of the women online and most of the women in my industry and in my capacity are actually energetically sensitive women. So thinking about serving hundreds of women just makes me want to lie down in a dark room. It's just like serving hundreds of men. I'm not sure. I'm just about dealt with one.
Exactly. I totally.
So, no.
I totally agree. Oh, hang on. We had it cut out there sound-wise.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No. So, and Antonina makes a very good point there. Actually, she was talking. Antonina talked about a list and various other things that tend to happen in the industry that people, people who are selling you the dream tend to have. Now, Antonina is a very interesting one, right? So, before anyone tells me, oh, you need to have, right? Let me tell you what Antonina doesn't have. Antonina doesn't even have a website. Do you, Antonina?
No,
Antonina has no website.
There is a prior iteration somewhere in the internet. I have not visited in ages. The only reason I know it's out there is because the domain has been renewed, and that's probably going to be turned off. So no website.
No website. No website. No funnels, right? No funnels. No website. No funnels. No mailing. No emailing list. No emailing list.
No mailing list. I do not do emails. Nope. Do not do them. Do not like them. Do not enjoy them. No opt-in.
No
nothing
opt-in?
like that.
No freebie?
What else is no ads? No ads. No, not even freaking Facebook business page. I don't even use my Facebook business page that much. So occasionally I'll go there and post something for,
Exactly. So, none of this stuff. So basically, everything that Antonina is doing is basically just on her favorite platform, which is Facebook at the moment, and people are attracted to her. And this is the thing that I need you to understand out there. When you're sitting there saying, where are all the clients and how are they all going to find me and all the rest of it? When you are energetically aligned and you know your ish, they are going to find you.
Absolutely, yes. They're going to drop in and they're going to find you even from your defunct Facebook page, which like seriously happened. A paid client came from, they weren't even on my friends list. So there you go.
Exactly. Come on, that's amazing, right? And and this is the same lady that has none of all the things that everyone says you need to have in order to run a business, and she still managed to make 6 figures in the first few months of this year. And this is going from earning how much? I think it's the equivalent. I think when we did it in dollars, it's about maybe 34,000 last year or something like that.
Yeah. In the second quarter. 27, 34, 35K would probably be in dollars.
And the figure now is 103,000, is it?
Between 100 and 310, right?
$1,000. Look at that. Like, is that not insane? Like, that is crazy,
freaking, right? Like, what? How much is it in percentages? What did I tell about numbers? Like,
it's almost 100%. She's almost trebled her salary in the first 4 months of the freaking year, right? And I need to say something else here, right? There are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of experts and whatever out there who are selling you a dream on the basis that they are earning shed loads of money. And this is what I need you to understand, that I myself only hit 6 figures at the end of last year, right? So in an ordinary world, surely my capacity is only to coach somebody up to like 5 figures, because obviously they've got to be less than I'm earning or whatever. But no, I hit 6 figures at the end of last year. I think it was October, and I had the capacity to take Antonina up to in practically half the time that I did it. This is not even a joke. Antonina has literally hit 6 figures in half the time it took me to do that, simply because of the how powerful the container was and the fact that we were so well aligned, and it's been awesome. It has been absolutely awesome. So
absolutely, yeah.
Totally. So yes, so she managed to enroll. She's enrolled people. She sold out packages. You sold out your retreat, right, Antonina?
Yes, I sold out my coaching. I sold out my coaching practice, as it were. Fully sold out retreat. So we had. If last year they were struggling to pay for it, this was a paid in full retreat, and I have a waiting list for the next 2 locations. Obviously published a book that is, so I'm now a published author. My own clients had incremental results like 20K month if we're talking in dollars, first 15K, massive breakthroughs, fabulous life changes, and of course, what else do we talk about? I've moved house twice, I'm moving country now, and I've semi-retired my husband.
Exactly. She's moving country, people. And we actually had a conversation right at the start before we jumped on this live to say, and I asked Antonina, do you honestly think you would be moving back home now if you hadn't made the money that you had? And her answer was?
I wouldn't. So I've always promised myself that that would be the case if I had a business. So now that I have, I feel very good about moving and improving our lifestyle and living on a Mediterranean island, because I know what I'm doing, I know what I can deliver, and I know I can look after myself, and the transformation I provide. So my business works for me, not the other way around, which was the case before. So I'm now in a position to provide myself and my family with the environment that works best for us.
Totally. That's such awesome news, Antonina. So for anybody out there who's watching and thinking, oh my goodness, like this is, this isn't for me, it's not possible, it's totally impossible, this is all crap, this whole 6-figure thing, we're not going to lie to you. We're not going to turn around and say that all of a sudden your children decide not to walk in on your live streams because you're now a 6-figure earner. Things don't drastically change like overnight. It's a change, but it's given us more freedom. And the freedom that the earning more money has given Antonina is the is the ability to this time go and do her retreat and know that it was all going to be paid for, you know, and there wasn't going to be the worry about whether she's going to have to be finding money out of her pocket to go and pay for this retreat. And, you know, then she was able to write a book. She was actually to be taken through the process with a book midwife, wasn't it? You know, A to B for the whole process of producing her book, which was
So yeah, I was able to hire people. So it's things like what we were talking about before. It's being able to invest in yourself in other capacities, you know, being able to hire a book coach, being able to hire a personal trainer, being able to pay a therapist, being able to take on somebody who's good with numbers, you know, being able to take on a person who can help with VA admin and tech stuff, being able to just take on these people and being able to pay them their asking price and enlist support. I think women need to understand, and women in a position of being a mother, but women in general just deserve so much support. It is freaking crazy how much stuff we end up doing ourselves, and then of course comes the burnout, comes the depression, comes the low libido, come the hormonal issues, and so on and so forth. And it really does not have to be like that if only we give ourselves permission to receive the support that we desire and require. It's as simple as that. It's even being able to hire a cleaner. Like, how cool is that, right?
Totally. I love my cleaner. I love the fact that I have a cleaner
and movers this time. I'm not doing the move myself. I'm going to hire some movers.
Awesome. Listen to this, people. And Antonina, like, I don't know if any of you lot have seen this, but Antonina tries not to come on video too often, or even do selfies of herself. But look how gorgeous she is, right? And I'm telling you, since she's come back from this retreat, she absolutely looks like a different woman. But it's not that. I actually hadn't really seen her properly, you know, because she started with the personal trainer like a couple of months ago now, didn't you? And it was like, this is a non-negotiable from me from now on, like hiring a personal trainer. She has a personal trainer 3 times a week. Like, this is the kind of thing that's like a benefit or a bonus for some people. But for Antonina, it's now a non-negotiable, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I mean, I saw you hire yours, and I thought, you know what, like, now that we are kind of getting settled in business, like what other support can I bring in order to ensure that I'm living a 10 out of 10 life. And yes, I have found this person, and we've been working out 3 times a week. I've discovered my love. Like, what's been amazing is I've discovered my love of fitness. So it didn't come from a position of like, oh my God, you know, I need to lose weight. That's a pleasant side effect and a bonus it's about movement, it's about fitness, it's actually prepared me for a 4-hour hike up the freaking volcano. I was able to do that easily and effortlessly, and I wasn't even in pain the next day, Brenda. So fitness is going to be a huge part of my life now, and it's a freaking non-negotiable. Like, everything that I am not a 10 out of 10 on is going to get outsourced to a professional. Like, why the hell not?
Woohoo! Go, girlfriend. And another thing that I need to say to you is that with so when we're looking at like Antonina and her cash and stuff, you know, and her sales, one of the things is, you know, there is a difference between cash and sales. So Antonina we're going to be on, you know, completely transparent here. So Antonina has made 6 figures in sales, but you know what's amazing, right? What's amazing is that the cash is almost, she's only, I think, are you only 20K off in cash?
Something like that. Yeah.
So that means that she's actually made more than like 80K in cash, right?
Yeah.
Come into her bank
has flown through my bank account. Yeah, which is pretty like freaking unbelievable.
And this is the kind of thing that I'll hear loads of small business owners say, you know, I can't get people to pay me, you know, people won't pay, they'll run away and they won't do this and they won't do that and whatever. Yes, that is a fact of life. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, it's a fact of life that sometimes people will renege on their contracts for whatever reason. You know, it could be personal reasons, it could be anything. But the way that we are, you know, that we are looking to run our business is to make sure that our cash is very, you know, if it's not the same as our sales, it's very, very, very close to it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Antonina has had such a large amount that's come into her bank account in just 4 months of the year, it's more than double what it was that she made for the whole of last year in the first 4 months. And that's cash in the bank, can see it, can spend it, can do what the hell she likes with it.
Yeah.
Really,
We're really opened up. Exactly.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, honestly, she's just a superstar, isn't she? And there were a couple of other things. I mean, I feel like, you know, we focused on the money and stuff because that is an important part, but there are so many other shifts that have happened in your life, Antonina, you know, like in terms of getting on better with your hubby.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, I mean, when I entered the container, besides being, besides not doing too well in business, the other bone of discontention was, of course, my relationship. It was not in a good place. I would say that doing the business part wasn't helping, but it was just at a place where we didn't understand each other, we didn't connect, and so yeah, that wasn't something to go to go singing about or to go home talking about, right? And since then we have gone on a journey of rediscovering who we are as individuals and to each other. I mean, I've moved massively through my business. I've supported my husband through his own depression and burnout, and I'm here now, and we're communicating from a completely different place. So that's another way of I think that's important to mention, because a lot of women refuse to go on this journey because over fear of losing their relationship. And I can say that losing and finding my relationship has been the best thing ever. It was a total loss anyway, but in finding myself, I have found a renewed sense of partnership and cooperation. So yeah, do not let this be a deterring factor to you. What's meant to happen is meant to happen, but actually you don't need to go on this big spiritual journey. Sometimes you know, the transformation is like right then and there, right in your own family. So it doesn't mean that you will have to go on the dating scene. It just means that, you know, your relationship will settle, and there's a renewed sense of communication and respect and integrity and honesty from both sides. So
it's so beautiful.
He knows who the queen is.
He totally knows who the queen is. Actually, tell them, Antonina, what happened when you actually came back from your how he greeted you when you came back off your.
He said, "Welcome back, magical woman," and he totally held the fort with my daughter and had his own rebirth, and he's completely in a place where you know, he knows what his values are, he knows what's important, and just feels the best and looks the best that he has in months. So again, that just goes to show, when you are happy, when you do the thing that's important to you, everybody wins. And in fact, you know, my daughter and my husband had the opportunity to bond. My daughter learned how to ride a bike. They got on more than ever, and she won a gold star, which of course is being accredited to the other half. So awesome. There you go.
No, that's brilliant. And I have to say, you know, Antonina, and you know, before you think, oh yeah, you know, this all sounds really rosy, Antonina, you know, it can't have been that difficult on the road for Antonina. I'm telling you, like, moving twice is incredibly stressful. Having a relationship that has its issues, and also they also decided to wind down their second business, didn't you, Antonina? I mean, all this alongside what you were doing at the moment.
Exactly that. So there was a relationship breakdown. There was a winding down of the second business because of the challenges that we were encountering. There was the physical burnout and decline and health decline. There was a house move. there were some what you call it? There was some legalities. So let's just say it was not a smooth journey. I think every up level was like, boom, there's something new happening, right?
Totally.
Brenda would be like, okay, so what are we dealing with this time?
But I have to say, but the thing is that I love about Antonina, and this is why she will always remain so dear to me, is she just kept going. And when I say kept going, I don't mean she dragged herself out of, you know, out of her pit of despair in order to keep going. And then she just didn't allow these things to stop her, you know. And this is the good thing about when you're running business on your terms. You know, imagine if Antonina had had 20 clients on her roster that she needed to care for while trying to care for herself. You know, it's just, it's hard. It's hard.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Yeah, I have to add to it. To all of this, there was, when the book was out, of course, I had this huge allergic reaction, which meant I was bedbound for 2 weeks, and my eyes were swollen for about a month afterwards, like my eyelids. So, and I was talking to one of the clients, and she said, "Oh, I didn't even realize it was a thing. Like, you mentioned it in the passing." I said, "What are you talking about?" Like, my eyes were the size of a tennis ball. So yeah, as you said, if it was the case of having to hold space for multiple clients, I don't think I would have been able. But in the business that we created, in the framework that we created, apparently it wasn't even a thing. It was just a passing thing.
And this is it. And that's what a true sustainable business is. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have something running in the background. You know, you can still turn up for your business, but in a way that feels good to you, and still get the results that, you know, that you want to get. And your clients, like you said, they don't miss you and they don't feel like they've missed out in any way. Then stop, please, darling.
Your coaching does not get any less powerful whether or not there is a kid in bed, or you're living in temporary accommodation, or you're between houses, or you're in a different country, or I don't know, you have like plenty of boxing, or any other that thing. Like, it doesn't take away from it.
Sorry, 1 minute. Yes. So anyway, we just had a minor interruption from my lovely daughter again, but we're back on track. And yeah, I forgot what we were saying now, Anthony.
We were saying, okay, so we were saying that besides everything that we listed, there was a situation with a business as well. So we actually had a second business that we ended up winding down. And because of certain challenges here. And the cool thing is that, of course, I was able to bring in more than the actual business.
Yes.
So at the end, this was a good move for us. And not only that, not only being able to wind down the business, which was our main bread and butter, is to semi-retire my husband. So we've agreed that he's off for the next 6 months and enjoying time being home and recovering from his burnout. All of this is being able, like, covered by my coaching business.
This is awesome. And now, and he cooks for you like the queen you are, doesn't he?
Yes. Well, exactly. He's my personal chef now. He's been hired as my personal chef. So I'm his first official client, his only client.
How amazing! I know. How amazing is that? You know, she's always wanted a personal chef, and now she has him. And he just so happens to be a husband.
I always have, exactly, and I didn't have to go looking too far.
1 second. Hello again. Right, okay.
It's Saturday. It's live, okay? Like, sooner or later, my one's coming through the door. We know.
No, I'm wrapping this up. So, yeah, so anyway, people, just in case you thought this was all staged, it clearly isn't, because there is nothing, honestly, it's the only thing that kind of winds me up is when they decide that it's at that moment.
Of course, now. They need you now, all your love, all your attention now.
I wouldn't mind so much, but she was actually asking for food. She's asking for saurine. That's what she said. And even though her dad came back in, Mummy had to go and get the saurine for her. But anyway,
of course.
By the by. But yeah, so anyway, so like Antonina told you herself, you know, there have been so many changes that have taken place. Oh, not to mention the fact that because obviously she's working with a publicist, we managed to get your very first feature.
It's Stylist Mag. Like, I used to read that on the tube on the way home. Like, that was my favorite part of the day, is getting the paper, and like, is it once a week or whatever, however often it comes out, and having the Stylist Mag. And yes, I had my feature for New Year's, right? Yes, that's pretty cool as well. So bucket meditation went viral.
Yes, bucket meditation. People loved it. Unfortunately, because Antonina didn't have a website, nobody knew where to find her, but it doesn't matter. We're not working on it. We'll work on PR later. They'll find her anyway. People are finding her already, as you can see. So, but yeah, no, that was just a joke, by the way. But no, it was brilliant. You know, so it just goes to show you don't have to be doing things in the way that everyone tells you to in order to get even featured in Stylist magazine. You just need to be doing.
You just have to show up, right? Like you just have to be ready, and you have to show up, and you have to be willing to go outside the box. You have to be willing to back yourself up, and surround yourself with the right people, and engage your own self-belief in your own magic, and then
Totally. And just one last thing I'll leave, because this has actually been, it was a much longer stream than I thought it was going to be, but there's so much to say about you. That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're covering a year's worth.
A year's worth of work. Yes. So this is why. So bear with us. It's because it's a year's worth of work rather than, the odd, just a 3-month testimonial. But I mean, one of the things that you were talking about with your relationship, I mean, your husband was worried about you to start off with, wasn't he? About how much money you were going to bring in with the business and stuff. And one of your fears, I remember was, I don't want to, the restaurant is our family business. This is where I need to put my energy, even though it's not my passion. This is where I need to put my energy, because this is ours, right?
Yes, and absolutely. I had to split my time between the two, and invest a lot of time and attention in keeping that going, even though, as you rightly said, that wasn't my area of expertise or passion. I was making it work because I believe that was the bread and butter and the only way for our family to survive, really.
But the truth is, there is no only way. There's only your way, isn't there?
Yes.
And how does your husband feel now about you and your business?
I think he feels very positive. And of course, we were saying, you and I were saying, when we were masterminding on the results, I actually had my highest grossest months when I made a decision to wind down the business. So if anything, it gave me back more of my time and resource. And it just goes to show, if you're half-arsing something, you're going to get the same kinds of results. As soon as I was able to double up on the attention that I put towards my life and business, I got double the results without even realizing it, of course. Totally. By accident.
Antonina will totally be the accidental millionaire. Like, you watch, let's stay to that live stream. Accidental millionaire. Oh God, it happened 6 months ago. Yeah.
Probably, knowing me, that will be the thing.
I'm just living life, But no, Antonina, thank you so much for your time today. I think I'm going to end it here. I mean, like I said, we could go on all day about how wonderful.
We can, but Booba needs her food. And
and I need
whatever
my food.
Booba once she gets. So let's wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
I've got some groveling to do, but thank you. You've been a fantastic client. It's been an amazing experience working with you. We're still in contract, by the way, just to let you know, people. Still working with Antonina. It's not
we're continuing. We're going for second spiral.
Yes, definitely second spiral. And like I said, it's not, the relationship is just going to transpire as it does, basically. And, whatever direction Antonina wants to go in with this, that's where we'll be going. And that's how it works. And, this isn't about, so just to let you know, in extended coaching journeys, this is not, or mentoring journeys, as I, prefer to say, this is not about holding on to someone for dear life.
For dear life, no.
This from you.
Absolutely, this is a free, a conscious choice, and I think it's fair to say that we have covered a lot of we've covered a lot of groundwork, and now it's, if anything, now the real work starts, right? Like, now we can, I have big dreams and I have big ambitions, and thankfully I have Brenda on my side to help me realize those, and big dreams and big ambitions deserve big foundations. So if anything, we've just laid down a pretty damn fine foundation, and now and now it's now the real work begins, and so this cannot be achieved and attained in a 90-day container in a group program. This is devotion, this is commitment, this is the marathon, and we're going all the way to the finish line, right?
Yay! Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, we are. So anyone, if you want to join our six-figure crew, hello, then let me know. You know,
Welcome.
yes, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to join us.
Brenda is officially the six-figure queen, fairy godmother queen. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
we are taking everyone, aren't we, Antonina? We're taking you to
Yes.
we're taking you to the top and to the bank. That's what we're doing.
Yes, we are.
Most definitely. But yes, thank you so much, my darling. I'm going to let you go now. Thank you for joining us, people. Bye.
Take care.